What's going on, guys? We're getting ready to go live here. I'm waiting for my Instagram thing to connect real quick so I can post this on there. All right, cool. We're live. Great first game. Absolutely phenomenal. We got our both teams to score. What's going on? Chisholm? Chisholm. Yeah, I mean, we got our both teams to score, got the over 2.5. Arda Gruler got a goal. I thought it was a very good and competitive first match. The rain didn't have nearly kind of the effect I thought. Ooh, Turkey did end up getting a goal here late after Cal Halangu came off. I kind of stopped watching there towards the very end while I was getting graphics for this ready. So, yeah, Turkey ends up winning 3-1. Mika Duze was the goal scorer that we talked about here. Arda Gruler scored a goal that we talked about here if you got into the player prop stuff. So, it was an overall good match. Much better start to the day, starting on a stronger foot. And getting into this match, I'm going to say that I like both teams to score here again. It's minus 105 over on Caesars Sportsbook. I do have that bet down. I have it in pocket. I was talking with a couple of guys over in my Discord about different stuff here. And what I have in pocket so far is Portugal, Czech, both teams to score minus 105 at Caesars. I also am taking Schick for an anytime goal at 4-1. I want to let you guys know I am on Schick to be the leading goal scorer for Czech. I have that as a future at 2-1. And then I also have that parlayed with Luis Diaz of Colombia to be Colombia's top goal scorer for a nice little futures parlay there. The thing I want to talk about is this Czech team, at least last Euros, is sneaky good. Patrick Schick really kind of broke onto the scene. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Joey Peppers. Schick will happen today. Schick really broke onto the scene. He backpacked this team to a round of 8 elimination. This Portugal team is definitely good. They have a lot of firepower. They have a lot of talent up top. They have good midfields and a pretty good back line, but they're definitely aging a little bit. As you can see, Pepe is still out there playing ball. He's 41 or 42 years old, playing center back here. He's an ex-Madrid guy. He's got a short fuse if we're going to see bookings today. He's a guy I would kind of target. Same with Vitian there in the middle. I'm pretty sure that's the guy who plays for PSG. I'll pull that up in a second here just to confirm. But I know him to be kind of a hack. Yeah, this is the PSG midfielder. He does like to jack from chicks from the top of the box. He can get himself in a little bit of foul trouble too. And then, you got Bruno Fernandes over there who is fine. He creates a lot of assist opportunities. I really like Rafael Leao. I'm on his to score or assist at plus 105 over on FanDuel. I really like Leao. You guys know I'm a little bit biased towards AC Milan players, but Leao is a stud, and I really like what he brings to the table here. Feeding Ronnie down the middle. Cancelo playing a right wing is a little interesting. You're going to get some really good numbers on him playing right wing there for shots and shots on goal. Schick being plus 375 is so nasty. No respect. Yeah, absolutely no respect. Because if you watch Schick at the last Euros, he completely backpacked this team to the round of 8. He hit that worldie from like 40 yards out, basically midfield. Schick happens, and Schick puts on the Czech kit and he turns into Superman. So yeah, I love Schick props. I like his shots on target, shots in the first half. We'll get into some of that. But yeah, Silva over here playing on the right kind of middle role, I think is going to maybe get flip-flopped with Cancelo. I'm not sure. But Silva's a great setup man as well. So Portugal has 3 really good setup men here surrounding Ronnie, who is, one of the best goal scorers to ever ever put on a uniform. So I think there's some really good assist numbers out there. Ronaldo anytime goal is sitting at minus 105, minus 110, minus 115. I think that's good enough to play on its own. But the one warning I will give you guys is I anticipate to see a lot of rotation from this Portugal team. They have a lot of young bloods. They have a ton of talent. This bench is super deep. So if things are working really well and they're running up the score, I expect them to give the youth the tick and to let them play here towards the second half. And I think if this is a cagey, close, low-scoring game, we will also see a rotation for more youth because a lot of these guys are older and the minutes are piling up on their legs. And all of that. So I do think Portugal probably wins this game, but I like both teams to score a lot at minus 105. I like Portugal and over 1.5 goals scored at minus 125 over on DraftKings if you want to get involved with Portugal, but you don't want to lay the money line. And like Fernando's talking about here, if you don't want to get into the aged handicap and require a 2-goal lead, I think taking Portugal in the over 1.5 is a good pivot as well at minus 125. Is Portugal a trap? I have a money line in my parlay. Staying so strong for days. Yeah, I mean, their back line, I wouldn't say it's necessarily suspect. I'd say it's aging. I'd say that that's where the biggest issues for me come from. But I think that this midfield is very capable of controlling possession and kind of keeping the ball and seeing more of a middle third game than either team really, except for Portugal. Portugal might dominate the final third a little bit, but I see Czech, the way they want to play this game, is being very contentious here in the middle third, and that's why we're seeing a 3-5-2 sort of setup from them. And I do like this Czech midfield, especially Sionchuk there in the middle with the captain's armband. He's a very quality player. Yeah, Cancelo up top is definitely throwing me off a little bit. I'm not 100% sure that this lineup is completely accurate. He might swap with Silva there in the midfield. But, you know, Cancelo is a guy who has many talents. And we know he likes to jack for chicks. We know he loves big games. And, yeah, I just double-checked FOTMob to see if the lineup graphic got updated at all. It still shows Cancelo playing right wing. So I think he is going to be up there on the right wing. I think that's really good value for us. If you're looking for value positions, his shots in the first half, his shots on target, his shots in general. Again, that's a little bit out of position for Cancelo. So if you think that he sees a good chunk of the ball, I think that is a good value position there on him. So let's get into a little bit more of these shots and shots on target numbers. I haven't dug super deep into those yet. I got my odds shopping tool pulled up here, getting ready to look. So we'll take player shots on target. It's going to be tough to get them for the Portugal guys at a competitive number. Bruno Fernandes is sitting at minus 155. Rafa Leao, I like at minus 145. I think that makes a nice parlay piece. Patrick Schick is bettable as a standalone at minus 125 over on DraftKings. So if you're into that and laying juice, you can tier that. So you put about 3/4 of your money on his shot on target and then throw 1/4 of your money for the unit on his anytime goal at plus 400. Souček 3 shots is plus 900 at bet 365. He's more aggressive with the national team than he is with the club. I definitely agree with that. I think that 3 shots is a lot of volume, but you are getting the 90 minutes. So I think that is a good look, Myron. I would scale it down and maybe just look at 2 shots and kind of play a base of 2 and then a little sprinkle on the ladder to 3. But yeah, that's kind of how I'd attack that. I also like him for a shot on target. We know he's got a cannon. We know that he finds the frame pretty well. So I'm looking at him for a shot on target here. As I said, Patrick Schick shot on target minus 125. I think that's plenty playable as a standalone number. I think Ronaldo, 2 shots on target at plus 108 over on Bet Rivers is a good look. We all know Ronnie, he is the striker. He's going to be leading this attack, and he's got 3 really talented guys, 4, 5 talented guys around him to serve him the ball. So I like Ronnie. I like him to shoot, and I like him to shoot often. We back. Let's go. Cup of Joe had some nice hits in the first game that we kind of recapped. So definitely starting on a much more positive foot than we were yesterday. Put yesterday in the past, and we're gonna keep moving here. So Bernardo Silva for a shot on target. Plus 143 over on Bet Rivers, plus 140 FanDuel, plus 120 over on DK. I like that. I like Silva to take some shots. I also like his assist number because he is kind of a guy that's going to be on set pieces here, along with Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, and I kind of like his assist number, but I do like him shooting there over on the right in the midfield. That's where he shoots a lot for City. So I do think that that's a good look as well. Again, as far as cards, falls, and bookings are concerned, I'm looking right at Pepe. And, you know, there's some stuff I could I'm not going to take individual falls and cards here on Czech, but I do like Czech to be carded a couple of times in this match. I haven't dug into the ref stats or anything yet. Cup of Joe, yep, that's how I started the stream. I am on both teams to score at minus 105 on Caesars. I'm on Schick anytime goal for a sprinkle at plus 400. And I'm on Liao to score or assist at plus 105 over on FanDuel. That's what I have in pocket so far. And I'm going to keep playing some additional stuff here. I just got a message from my buddy Bird in Discord. He thinks Portugal is going to be playing more of a 3-5-2 with Cancelo and Silva in the midfield, and then Delort pivoting up or Mendes pivoting up to make that back line there. I can kind of see that with Ronnie and Liao running forward and being kind of more of the point men there. He actually shared me a graphic. Yeah, so it's got Mendes shifting up to play left wing back and Cancelo out on the right, playing right wing back, with freedom to move forward and come back. And that's Cancelo's big thing, is his get back cover ability here to help out Delort playing what would be right back there. So I do like that. And I think it will create more opportunities for Silva here. And then that puts Bruno Fernandes playing the 10 with the freedom to come up and run with Liao and Ronaldo here, but also to be kind of the main distribution pivot in the midfield there. So I think that setup is definitely a lot more likely. That's great info. Shout out my boy Bird for sending me that. So I appreciate it. But yeah, I like both teams to score here. The other thing I was talking about is if you like to be on Portugal and you want to be on Team Portugal to win, take them in over 1.5. It's minus 125 on DraftKings. So I like that. If people scared to take the minus 1.5, take Portugal money line and Ronnie anytime goal scorer at 123. Yeah, I don't hate a Ronnie win cast at all. I definitely like Ronaldo as a goal. I wouldn't say it's necessarily scared on the minus 1.5. It's just that I think that there's a little bit better way to find some value here, just depending on what books you have and your ability to shop markets. So if I look at the Asian handicap here, you know, the -1 at minus 127, I think is a much more playable number here domestically in the US. I don't know what the offshore market is, and that's probably why Fernando is looking more at the minus 1.5. That's plus 135 here domestically, and I can get behind that. If you need a plus money number on the Asian handicap, the minus 1.25 is plus 107. But at that price, I'd rather just take the -1. I prefer a push than a half win. But that's just me. That's my personal preference. So, yeah, I think the -1 at minus 127 isn't bad. But I do think that Portugal is able to score 2 goals here. That alone, just their team total over 1.5 is a little too juiced for me at minus 160-ish, minus 155, that kind of neighborhood. That's a little much for me as a standalone, and that's why I like taking Portugal in the over 1.5 total goals for the match at minus 125. So moving on, I'm going to try and wrap this up in about 10 minutes. So if you have any more questions, feel free to ask them, throw them in the chat here. I'm going to keep kind of moving through this board on player props for shots on target, and then we'll finish with some first half shots ideas. We'll wrap it up and we'll get out of here. Fanatics boost plus 125. Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes, 1 shot on target each, boosted from minus 110. Yesterday, it was clearly a trap. Doesn't feel that way today. What was the trap about yesterday? Did Griezmann not get his shot on target? Look, there's a lot of mouths to feed. Again, like the thing with these is they're boosted because they're giving you players that people want to bet on. This is a public market trying to entice betting, giving you an advantageous number with a limit, but they're putting in names of people who they know you want to bet on. And Man U and Ronaldo are probably the 2 biggest fan bases out of everybody on the pitch. So that's why this boost exists. I don't think it's a trap at all, but just remember there's a lot of mouths to feed on Portugal here. There's easily 6 guys that are going to want to shoot, and they're going to want to put shots on target, and they're going to want to bag goals for their country. So, 2 of 6 guys to put a shot on target here, I don't think that's bad. I just want to remind you guys that there's a lot of mouths to feed. That said, Joe, I do like this boost. It sounds like it's a good boost. It sounds like if I shop around on the market, I'm not going to find a better number, making it probably making it plus EV. Again, I'm not going to do the math calculations to make sure, but it sounds plus EV. It sounds like a good play. Again, just the caveat here is there's a lot of mouths to feed on Portugal. So yeah, the one thing I want to talk about with shots on target numbers before we move on is Soychuk, because I do really like him. Yeah, plus 240 over on Bet Rivers, plus 195 on FanDuel, and plus 180. I'm going to end up throwing some money on Thomas Soychuk to put a shot on target. Plus 180, plus 195, plus 240. I really like that. He's the captain. He's playing the pivot. He's playing this kind of role in the midfield, and he also just loose balls in the box find him. He's got a hell of a foot. He's got an absolute cannon. And if Czech is struggling to find space and threaten the target, he's a guy that I know, along with Schick, is just going to say, this is kind of my team. I'm jacking for it, and we're going to live with the consequences, especially later. So yeah, that's where I'm at with those. Let's get into a little bit of the first half shots, long shot market, and then we'll get the hell out of here. So players to have 1 or more shots in the first half. Patrick Schick sitting at minus 165. I don't super love that. Yao Cancelo, if you think that he is shooting in the first half, I like that at minus 130. As a standalone. Bernardo Silva, just to have a shot here in the first half, is plus 110. I love that number. I think that's really good. Thomas Soychuk, who we just talked about, him just to shoot in the first half is plus 155, just for a single shot. So I do like that. And then everything else is a little too juiced for me to be playing as a single. The longer shot stuff, player to have 2 or more shots in the first half. Like I said, I think Ronnie is going to be the focal point. And I do like Leao a lot. I like what he does for Milan. I know that he has the stones to shoot himself. He's a great setup man too. If they're double marking Ronnie, Liao is going to be the beneficiary of that. He's plus 290 for 2 or more shots in the first half. I think that's a really, really good look. Bruno Fernandes at plus 320. I like that. Yao Cancelo plus 450. I think that is a little bit of a stretch, but doable. I think Bernardo Silva at plus 650 is a really, really good price. And that's kind of where I'm at on that. And then for the threes market, Liao at 12-1. I don't think that Patrick Schick sees 3, but at 11-1, it might be worth just a small sprinkle. And then, like I said, I think that Silva is going to be the biggest beneficiary at 30-1. Again, that's a small sprinkle. And that's all first half stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at on this. I do like Portugal to win. So Portugal and over 1.5 is sitting at minus 125. I think I'm going to bet that. I have both teams to score in pocket already at minus 105 on Caesars. I have Patrick Schick, anytime goal scorer in pocket at plus 400 on FanDuel for a little sprinkle. Liao to score assist at plus 105 over on FanDuel. That's what I have in pocket. I think I am going to get into this 1 or more shots in the first half market on Bernardo Silva here at plus 105 and maybe Soychuk at plus 150. And then throw a couple of sprinkles on some long shots at 2 or more shots in the first half. My primary target there is Liao. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will be back at 4 p.m. Doing a baseball show with my boy Josh from the Land Your Bets Network. It's going to be our first live stream together talking about baseball stuff. So I'm super excited for that. Be sure to tune in so we can keep the conversation and some bets going here after we finished Euros, since we had a two-game skinny slate today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I really enjoyed doing these and chopping it up with you guys. And then I don't know what's going to go on tomorrow. I think I might have to get out of town for a little bit of a thing here. So I will make sure to tweet and post on YouTube my schedule through Friday on what I'm going to be doing as far as live streams are concerned. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Love doing these. Can't wait to do some more of them with you. Before we get out here, Fernando's got 3-leg parlay. Ronnie, 2 shots on target. Portugal to win the first half, over 2.5 plus 328. I really like that. I think that's a great looking parlay. That's something I think is really good for whatever you'd spend on a meal at McDonald's or whatever, just depending on your bankroll. I think that's a nice little long shot parlay. So appreciate you sharing that, Fernando. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm Burr Oaks. We out. Doses. Peace.